I've listened to different takes in the manosphere, and I feel a little bit better because I was very disappointed to hear some of the takes that some of these black men had on this on on Sunday night, Monday morning. But ever since since Monday and yesterday, I heard I listened to Kevin Samuel's show that he had on it. Was covered a lot of the things, a lot of the same perspective as me. Minister Jap did an excellent show on this, as expected. Um, yeah, so I heard a lot of very interesting takes. Obviously, the Lapeef Network, King Talk, had a also great show on this yesterday. So yeah, so that's kind of like the premise of this show is just I've been thinking about this since it happened and since that discussion on Anton's live, and I was a bit disappointed, but now I'm feeling better. But I still want to hear y'all takes on this stuff. So to get started, the first question is: was Will Smith right to smack Chris Rock over a joke? And by the way, if for those who still don't get the thumbnail, why there's a Rottweiler on there, I would think by now it's probably obvious, but it'll be obvious soon if it isn't. So yeah, let's was Will Smith right to smack Chris Rock over a joke? So we can just start with Tamika.
Honestly, JB, I am so over this topic. I could like scream. I deleted my whole Instagram because I was just like, I'm sick of it. But I felt like it was all staged. But I know there's been a whole nother debate about was it staged or not. But at this point, I'm over it. I don't think he should have hit that man, but it is what it is.
Okay, what do you think, Janae?
Um, like in the event that it's wasn't staged, I don't think it's right. I feel like comedians joke about things all the time. Like, I mean, if he was really that upset about it, I'm sure they have some sort of rapport. I'm sure they've worked together before. He could have just talked to him after, but walking on stage and slapping him was very like Kanye 2008 VMA spectacle-ish. Very embarrassing, very cringy to me. Like I know that people are like he was defending his woman, but I hate to see men react that way. I hate to see like emotional reactions. It really bothers me. So I don't think he was right. I don't like violence in any circumstance ever. So
Okay. What do you think, Cam?
First of all, let me say I love that cup. Just want to let you know. Anyways, no, and I don't think it was staged because yes, that one. I think clearly you don't have to pay Black people anything to make a fool out of themselves. They will just do it freely. They will just do it. I really think that I'm happy that Janae brought up that Kanye thing because at first Kanye seemed to be the disgrace of the Black community because of what he did in public. And honestly, I think Will took the cake when he decided to make a fool out of himself. I think that was the most ghettoest thing I've ever seen on national television. And it just proves that it doesn't matter how much money it's proving that no matter how much money you give a Black person in this sense, they're still gonna it's like the ghetto mentality or whatever you want to call it. It's like almost like ingrained or I just don't understand how people are even backing him up. I don't get it. So I just think it actually it really does grind my gears to even think about it still. Like he really did that. And I know people are probably tired of talking about it, but it's so serious. Like he really, really did that. Like he really got up on stage and hit another Black man and then basically justified it with his actions afterwards by not even apologizing to him right after. And then you have other people backing him up till this day. I can't believe it. So I just think it was so wrong and ghetto.
Okay. Hold on. I saw a comment on here that I just wanted to highlight real quick. I'm a fighter. We'll get back to that. And then I also saw this one right here. I think it was a disrespectful joke about a woman having no hair due to medical issues. because everyone knows women love their hair. Okay. I'm going to answer this again, since I've already answered it before, and I'm sure some of y'all have already heard my take on this. I think Will Smith was, made an utter fool of himself. And I mean, I feel like Cam kind of echoed pretty much a lot of my sentiments on this. I wonder why, but
and I just want to say,
go ahead.
I didn't listen to the Anton's live, so I actually didn't hear that part of what you spoke on. Just want to make that clear.
Sure. So my take on this is that Will Smith was absolutely not right to smack Chris Rock over a joke. And actually, to touch on Andre Dobson's point, I don't care if it was disrespectful or not. So what? Like, I think even trying to find the reasons for whether, like, to decide whether it's right, to me is still foolish, because he got up on live television on a live event and walked up to go smack another black man, and these are two, like, they're supposed to be the upper echelon of black men, and he got up and went to go smack another. I don't care what the reason is. Like, you could tell me anything. I literally do not care what the reason is. So I don't care if she has, I'm gonna even go as far as saying I don't care if she had cancer. I literally don't care if she had cancer and she was about to die and Chris Rock made a joke about it. You go up, you walked up and you went and you smacked another black man live at a live event. So to me, there's no excuse for that. Tamika, you just smiling. I'm curious why you just smiling at this.
Do you think Chris Rock should have did something back, or you think his response was the appropriate one?
So actually, I think Chris Rock's reaction is probably the only good thing out of all of this, is the fact that he did not let Will take him down to that level, right? Because I think had Chris Rock actually reacted, then I mean it would like it would have just, like, I feel like right now Will Smith to me makes I don't want to because we're going to end up touching on this in the different topics, but to me it's an embarrassment, and it's not just embarrassment for Will Smith, it's an embarrassment for black people, right? And I know some people don't view it like that, but I do. And so I think if Chris Rock had reacted in the way that a lot of us would expect, it would just, I mean, there would be nothing, to me, there would be nothing, like, no good aspect of this. But at least Chris Rock was able to maintain, his level of professionalism and not let Will Smith take him down to that level where anybody, with a normal brain, in my view, can look at this and say, okay, Will Smith was clearly wrong. That's how I see it. Like, I cannot understand anybody justifying this. I really can't. I've tried to be objective and try to understand. I just cannot understand anybody justifying this. But then I can understand why I can understand like where certain people or how certain people come to these conclusions and why they're stuck at these conclusions. I just can't. I guess to me, none of their justifications are logical or rational, is the way I would say it. Sway said, try to bald thing, men go bald every day. We make fun of them. And she's also, see, and that's the other thing too, is that this is, like I said, beyond just the environment. I think beyond the environment, I think the fact that it's a show where this is what typically happens. In fact, right before he made that comment about Will Smith and Jada, whatever, or specifically about Jada, he had just made a joke about another couple, a white couple, whatever. Like, he had just made a joke about them, and they kind of just took it, laughed it off, and it was all good. And so if you're in that environment, like, that to me makes it even worse that you can't even take a joke in an environment where that's what they literally hired Chris to do that. But even if they didn't hire him to do that, I don't think it would be okay. But they literally hired him to do that, and you can't even take a joke. And to Sway's point, if it was a man that he was making fun of, no one would have taken it that seriously, for one. But two, I think one of the other aspects of Sway's point is that it's kind of the same, a similar thing with what happened with Dave Chappelle. I think is how no one would touch. There's a specific topic, you know, when it comes to, you know, the LGBTQ whatever. There's that topic, everybody would avoid it, right? So anyone can be roasted except for this one group. Anyone, any group, any religion, whatever can be roasted except for this one little group. And they are a little group in terms of percentages, right? And Dave Chappelle said, no, screw that. Like, how come we can make fun of everybody except y'all? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're trying to chase equality, then, you know, you should accept that just like we all get roasted, you can get roasted too. And Dave Chappelle is the only one to challenge that narrative. So to me, that's I kind of look at it similar as well, like to Sway's point there. But yeah, I think to me, I think it was absolutely absurd for Will Smith to smack Chris Rock like that. But anyway, so we can move on to the second point. And this point, actually, I think we'll end up touching on why that I picked the thumbnail I picked for this show, which is what triggered Will Smith to actually do that. I mean, it's to a certain extent probably obvious, but like I'm just curious, like how you guys actually break that down when you think about it. So we can start with Tamika again, because Tamika looks so annoyed by this topic, and I actually just want to hear her thoughts on this.
Okay, now I'm about to go all the way left field. I think Jada's a witch. And once he realized, it was like he was laughing at the jerk at first, if you watch the footage or whatever. And then when everybody panned to her face, or when you looked at her face, you could tell she was not happy about the situation. And it's kind of was like, oh, it was like a switch for him. It literally looked like somebody flipped a switch, and he got on stage and walked up, punched the man. He kind of hesitated before he actually went in for the punch, because at first it looked like he was just gonna say something. Then he goes in for the slap or whatever, and then he goes sit down and talk about don't be effing, talk. She a witch. She snapped her fingers and wiggled her toes, and he got up and retaliated. That's what I think happened. I don't know. I'm really over it, but yeah.
Okay, so Jada's a witch. That's the first answer. All right. Cam, what do you think?
What trigger will? I don't know. Okay, so it's hard for me to just like put so much blame on Jada, because like a look is gonna make you physically assault somebody. I mean, that's insane, so it has to be. I think it's just him, honestly. I think part of it, maybe like even 25%, was what she looked like the face that she made. But I think he just, I don't know, felt some sort of ego, like something was like impeding on his ego. I really can't. It's hard for me to figure out what triggered him, because it just seems so insane. It seems insane to even consider. I just don't understand. I have no idea what could have triggered that, because I can't even. And especially Will Smith, because we just consider him like a stand-up guy. We even actually consider him like a quote-unquote a simp in a lot of ways lately. So I just maybe that's what triggered him. I have no idea. It's really hard for me to try to justify why he would have done that, because it just, maybe he's on drugs. That's the only thing, or he has a mental health issue. That's the triggers that I could think about, because the fact that you would blame defending your wife's honor, it actually makes no sense. It actually makes no sense that you would choose this time to do it, the biggest day of your life, pretty much. You're defending your wife's honor on this day. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know what could have triggered him at that moment, unless he has some sort of mental health issue. I don't know.
Okay. So your answer is basically mental health in a nutshell.
Yeah, I'm gonna say mental health. Because...
Okay. Janae, what do you think?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm really not sure what triggered him to react that way. I feel like that's why it's so surprising, and why I understand what Tamika was saying about it being staged in the first place. Because to me, when you look at these people, he's an actor. He's been in this industry for years. He knows how to take jokes. He knows how to deal with rumors. He knows how to do all this. So it just seemed very out of character, very random, very strange for him to do that. But in the event that it was completely authentic, he probably found a moment that he kind of thought would, I don't know, bring attention, make him look a certain way, like he's defending his wife. I don't know, like there isn't really a logical reason to be triggered to that degree to literally walk on stage and slap someone. So I'm with Kim. I have no idea what's going on. I mean, Jada could have influenced, that little look that she did. But I don't know, it's just all very strange. It's hard to say.
Okay. So basically, here's the reason why I set my thumbnail to what it is. I think a lot of men, basically, especially black men, specifically black men, actually, they're weaponized by women as attack dogs. And I feel like that becomes the fate of a lot of black men, and like almost literally, actually, because you look at the prison system, you see, so many brothers who are locked up over females, over like bullshit that did not even require the violence, the assault, whatever that landed them in jail, prison, etc. And so I think this is a very perfect example of that. Is this man was laughing at the joke, like he was laughing at it at first. Then the camera, pans over and whatnot, and right before you see how annoyed she was, but he was like, I mean, it was a knee slapper for him, right? And then next thing you know, he walks up on the stage and smacks Chris, right? And I think that's a perfect example of like a woman using a man as an attack dog, and it's sad because Will Smith is basically like I would call Will Smith like a high value Rottweiler, right? Because he basically, despite the level that this man has reached, he's gotten to the point where he's still, like, so many people look up to Will Smith, right? Across different industries. I talked about this on Anton's Live. Like, a lot of people look at Will Smith and they think of him in terms of a celebrity and like an actor and whatnot. But Will Smith has multiple different other multiple domains where, I mean, he's still like a top dog, and people look at him, look up to him in those domains as well. So one of those, for me personally, I don't even like care as much for Will Smith's actor career. One of the reasons why I really admired Will Smith is on the private equity side, where Will Smith has a VC, a venture capital firm called Dreamers, right? You could look it up, Dreamers VC. And Will Smith has been, a lot of people don't know this, kind of like similar to Nas, kind of similar to Nas. Will Smith has been behind like so many successful tech companies, and I'm talking about like huge tech companies, right? Even Coinbase, some of the biggest tech companies that you've heard that have gone through IPOs, very successful IPOs and very successful acquisitions, etc. Will Smith his firm has been primary investors in those companies. His firm Dreamers VC, right? And so for me, like being on the tech side and also on the private equity side as well, like to me, I looked up to Will Smith from that angle where I'm just like, yo, that's super dope, the work that he's doing. Just the same way I look up to Nas, right? Where they're, behind the scenes, a lot of people just look at Nas, the rapper, whatnot, but behind the scenes, he got Queensbridge Ventures, right? And making investments in some of the top tech companies, again, same thing. And so I'm looking at them from that angle, and it really disappoints me to see that Will Smith could reach this level and yet could still be an attack dog, right? And I think the reason is because Will Smith never like saw himself as the prize. He always saw Jada as the prize. And this is why I personally, my take is that you can't be with a woman you shouldn't be with a woman unless you feel and know that you're better than her. That's just my take. And I know some people feel differently about this. That's fine. Well, actually, I don't think that's fine, but whatever. Like it's that's your prerogative. But I think you have to feel better than the woman. Like you have to feel better than your woman. Like end of story. That's my take on it. And because Will never felt better than Jada, he always felt like she was the prize, right? To the point where he can understand that she really liked Tupac, but yet still decide to stay in this miserable situation. make decisions, and allow her to make certain decisions that he never wanted, right? For example, this whole open relationship thing. It's obvious Will wanted monogamy, right? It's obvious. But Jada wanted her back broken by other dudes. And so she says, hey, let's have an open relationship. And Will, not wanting to disappoint Jada, just says yes. Because that's what happens, when Mr. Lee, I'm sorry, but that's what happens when niggas look at a woman as better than them, is that I don't want to lose her, so I'm going to do whatever she says so she doesn't walk away, so I don't risk it. And so now this man had to sit on a show where this woman told him how this R&B nigga brought so much happiness to her. Okay? Like, think about the level of emasculation that it takes for a man to sit on a show with his wife as she describes, okay, how another man made her feel. And this is Will Smith that we're talking about. Not just, average Joe, not just we're talking about Will Smith. Right? And so to me, that's just, I mean, like, that's terrible. Like, there's no other way. I mean, that's terrible. Like, and I think that's the only reason why, at that point, Will is so broken that this joke is made. And as much as he can enjoy the joke, and he looks over at Jada and he sees how upset she is, and he knows that he's never felt accepted by her. And to a certain point, actually, he's kind of said that. I forgot what the exact quote was, but he said even, he mentioned how he could never satisfy her. Like, I think he mentioned how he threw a party one time for her, and then she, like, I mean, you've heard Will talk in different, like, oh, damn. I'm sorry, Lee. I'm sorry, Lee. I'm sorry. Damn, Lee really hurt me. Okay. Hey, Lee, we ain't pledged yet, so listen.